Hello, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are 20 sides to every story, and tonight we are playing formally our first session of Symbaroum, and we are going to be playing through I guess you could call it the tutorial adventure. It is the adventure that comes with the core rule set, which is called I always want to call it Forbidden Lands because that's the other Free League game that we're playing, but it is the Promised Land is the name of the scenario. And it looks like, hey Jeff, thank you so much for the subscription, 21 months in a row. That's awesome. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We're going to be starting this, and we're going to be playing through this. And the aspiration, I think, is to continue this adventure. Picks up with a couple of other scenarios that I think it's Adventure Pack 3. I don't know. I don't have it next to me, but it's part of a whole thing called the Copper Crown campaign. So we're going to be trying to run through that. And so it all starts here tonight. If you haven't joined us already in our Discord server, please do that. I'll pop the link into the chat. That's a great place to come hang out and talk with us about our games when we're not online. And we have a number of games that we will throw up in our LFG channel for people to sign up and play. So I would encourage you to check that out, see if any of that interests you. If you really like what we're doing and you want to support it in some way, you can check out our Patreon page. The link also is there in the chat. Check that out. We have some audio format, like podcast format replays of some of the adventures that we have done, including mostly what we have up there right now is our Dolmenwood series, where we're using old school essentials to play that. But then Forbidden Lands is also up there on the audio format, so you can check that out. Supporters can get access to those. Those are all edited too. We have a Lyra, if you know her. I don't know. She might be out there in chat. I don't know. But she does us a great favor in editing and cutting all that down. It's a lot of work, and so, but it makes it so you can listen to something we played for 3 hours, and it's only an hour and a half for you to listen to. So, check that out too. Yeah. So last time that we were all together, we basically did a session 0. We created our characters. We talked a little bit about the setting, and we did dabble a little bit. We played a little kind of scenario where you got to kind of feel out the mechanics and role play and things like that. But this is going to set us off on the main adventure here. But I think before I give kind of the details about what's been happening with your characters the past 2 days, we'll just have you all kind of give us an introduction to who your character is and who you're playing. So, just describe who you got, tell us all about them, and then tell me about either something that they're leaving behind as they are leaving the old country south of the Titans, or if you're playing a character that, like Temper, Fetch, Gnosis, you all likely came from north of the Titans. What is something that you left behind to venture down southward? So I think why don't we start things off with you, Adrian?
Hi everybody, I'm Adrian and I will be playing Jomilo, who is was a captain in the army. He is human, and he's a pretty gruff guy, really against the religion of the time, which is the Prios, right? Prios?
Yep.
Alex, yeah. And yeah, so what he's leaving behind is all the men that he fought with. It's sort of ambiguous as to whether or not he left under good circumstances, or maybe he just decided to leave and not tell anybody. So yeah, he might want to avoid certain groups of people.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's turn next to Robyn.
All right, I'm Robyn. I'm playing Temper, who's an ogre. I have her occupation listed as bodyguard in quotes. She I think she's gone this route with caravans before. She always wants to find her friend, a friend, someone who will be there through thick and thin forever. But because her name is Temper, she's known for having a little bit of a temper. She's got a little bit of a berserker kind of attitude going on. So, um she's left behind a lot of friends, people who she thought were going to be there for her, and maybe she went just a little too far and kind of pushed them away. So, I think she's got friends on both sides of the mountain pass.
Awesome. Let's go next to Ryan.
Yeah, so I'm Ryan Garthok. I'm playing Papa Gnosis, and probably what the rest of the party and everybody else around him doesn't know is that Papa Gnosis is a changeling. And so he's left behind everything, his family, his friends, everything he's pretty much ever known, because, it was discovered, kind of what he was. And so, I think he sort of traveled for a while on his own, and he did kind of have another changeling that he sort of came across and was traveling with for a bit. But when he came up with this scam to kind of pass himself off as a, priest of Prios, was sort of where his friend and him split. And it was just, they didn't agree on this kind of grift, and he just said, "Hey, I'm doing it. I'm going for it. I'm using my powers, and I'm gonna get the best out of this life by pretending to be one of these priests." So yeah, he didn't have a whole lot. He was kind of forced out of his where he grew up, but he did sort of leave behind his only friend to kind of head south and try to make a new life.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing a bit about Papa Gnosis. Let's go next to Lauren.
All right, hi, I'm Lauren, and I am playing Elin, who is a human witch from one of the quote unquote barbarian tribes. She was quite young when they were all either captured or killed, and I mean, she's still quite young, and was told the safest thing to do was to flee, and so that is what she did. She fled south. But has found it not particularly hospitable down there, and is thinking, well, at least there's food up north, so that seems like maybe a better path. So she's going back, but with some trepidation because her kind is not, much accepted, and if they are come across, tend to my understanding is basically be enslaved or assimilated, and so it's a little bit worrisome for her going back, but it's kind of out of necessity to survive.
Awesome. And then let's go next to Mick.
Hi, I'm Mick. I'm playing Fetch. Fetch is a ogre treasure hunter. Gems, man! He was picked up by a shady goblin, and he had a bunch of ogres and goblins who were doing some questionable things up north, and they ventured south for riches, but also the goblin had everyone convinced that there was somewhere south where they would just all be accepted. They're all kind of outcasts. So he left behind a bit of a community up there and went down with a small group, and the goblin died and the group scattered, and he's on his way back to hopefully find some community again. It's kind of, he likes being part of a group. He likes to help. That's kind of his thing. He's a treasure hunter who can do a bit of healing, and his name's Fetch. The whole thing is that all he wants to do is help and fit in. So that's what he's trying to do.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing a little bit about who you're bringing into the story. So you all find yourselves, you all impressed the caravan master Argosto, who you all needed to garner favor with, because he was being very selective about who he was willing to take with him to brave the the roads, the mountain pass through the Titans. There was a larger contingent of folk that were looking to head up north, but we're finding ourselves at this moment in the autumn months where at any day now the weather is going to turn to fairly nasty, inclement, wintry storms and things through the pass, and that is a huge risk for anyone passing through that area, just because the roads, there really aren't any roads, and you really run the risk of being kind of trapped or freeze to death by the sheer fact that you wouldn't be able to move through the area and collect firewood and things like that. So it is a risky gambit. Most of the caravan masters weren't willing to do it, but Argosto was the one person in camp that seemed like he was willing to take his wagons north, and so it wasn't a very attractive prospect to stay behind either, because famine and such is afflicting the lands to the south, and so in some ways it's a no-win situation. You either have to take this risk, or you know that it's going to be a very painful season to the south. But you all managed to garner that favor, and you also use your influence, I believe, to help convince him to take on another caravan, another wagon master by the name of Telk, who you garnered a little bit of a. He was kind of the one that maybe shared some information about Argosto, and so you vouched for him, and he has accompanied the caravan as well. You would remember that Telk had a friend named Keller, and Telk seemed pretty, not so beside himself that his friend wasn't going to maybe make it, or that he got a golden ticket and his friend didn't. But you maybe would be surprised the next day that Keller did somehow garner some favor with Argosto as well, because he did end up. And you've noticed there's a little bit of a strange dynamic. Like the two of them are still talking, kidding around, but Keller's definitely given him the third degree a little bit for so hastily leaving him in the wind, maybe. There are some others that are along for this ride. Fetch and Temper in particular probably remember two of Argosto's armed men that you had a little bit of a duel competition, a little friendly competition to show your battle prowess. And so Gustav and Wes are with the group. There is also a member of the Ordo Magica, the magical society, sort of almost the society of mystics and learned scholars that have chapters throughout many of the towns you understand to the north. He is with the group. There is a member of the Church of Prios that is with the caravan, individual by the name of Lestra. And there are two barbarian pathfinders that are with the group named Belun and Ludo. There are some various other folks that are with the caravan, but these are maybe some of the primary characters that the primary characters that are maybe dealing with things related to the caravan safe passage and scouting and security and things like that. People that clearly Argosto brought on board for their expertise and not just wagon drivers or whatever. So it's been about 2 days now since you headed north, and you where you are now, we could safely say you're in the mountain pass now. And the landscape here is pretty heavily forested in rocky terrain. traveling through this area is pretty slow moving with wagons and things like that. There are times when a wagon might get stuck in a rut and you got to spend some time kind of digging it out and getting it back up and out. There's times where you have to like literally clear your own path through some vegetation, and all of that just takes a long time. And so an individual maybe trekking through this pass could probably get to your destination maybe in a couple of days, but just the fact that you've got all these wagons and all of the obstacles really slows it down. It's going to be a week or more before you finally make it through the pass and get ultimately to the fertile lands that you're seeking to get to. We're gonna pick our game back up. It's gonna be evening, but the day previous it was pretty clear blue skies. Weather has felt pretty remarkably nice. So nice that there's been like rumors kind of going about the camp that you're hearing from different people, that some are saying this is clear evidence that Prios has blessed this caravan, and that going to the promised land and bringing all these people who will, tend to the fields and cultivate, the glory of Prios, like obviously that is what's happening. Some suspect it's just luck, that Argosto maybe was just the one person that was willing to take a risk and made a good calculation that there was still time on the autumn side of the season to make it. And then others are saying, some are saying that maybe Eileen, is it Eileen?
Like kind of like Elin, but with a little bit less of the like kind of like the Elin sort
Elin.
of, yeah.
Elin? Okay.
Yeah.
Some have been speculating about you a little bit. It has not gone unnoticed that you are not just a barbarian, but I think you weren't too shy about that you've got some mystical powers, maybe.
Yeah, I've been fairly open with it for profitability's sake, so
So you've definitely garnered a little bit of, some people think this is all you're doing, that you have conjured up some kind of magic from your people that is keeping everyone safe. Some maybe are throwing some claims that the wizard, the mystic, maybe has something to do with it. But either way, most people seem to be trying to come up with an explanation rather than just assuming that it is just good weather. So,
Alex, what's the name of the Ordo Magica guy?
his name is Bartolom. And so, at this point, it's dusk, and the caravan has had to settle down and make camp. And this formation that you see on the screen is kind of the way things go during the evening, is that they'll form up a circle, and they've got some makeshift gates that they've kind of constructed and have been carrying around with them to kind of bridge that gap in between the wagons to create this makeshift barrier. Just in the mostly out of fear that there are some wildlife up here in the mountains, like wolves, dire wolves, and things like that it's not unheard of that they might bother, especially if they start smelling the scents of cooking food or meats and things like that. Not that anybody's cooking these types of things, but it's just a precaution. And the typically at night, it's the barbarian pathfinders are typically the ones on watch. They kind of they sleep in the couple of the wagons during the day as you're traveling, and then they take up the defenses at night. Of course, if any of you wanted to be a part of that, you could follow a similar pattern. Yeah, so you're going to find yourselves, you'll see Telk kind of making up a little makeshift campfire. He pulls out he's folk have gone out and collected firewood and water and things like that, and he's done the same, and he's boiling some water, and he's got a little pouch of oats. It looks like he's just making kind of a little bit of like a porridge or a oatmeal, basically. And he like kind of gestures as you guys are kind of finishing up your rounds and setting up your tents or whatever. He'd kind of signal to you, "Hey, friends, take a spot by the fire. Not that we need it. This has been pretty balmy weather that we have had this past 2 days."
Oh man, Temper's gonna go sit right by him because I mean he called her friend, and Telk is right now her object of obsession. So so she'll sit by him.
And you could probably tell he has not forgotten that, like, this. He is still honoring you all for the fact that you brought him into the caravan, and so he's serving you up like a big healthy bowl as soon as you sit down. Like, it's right there in front of you, and he says, he almost annoyingly, like, always references the fact, you know, that you did this big favor for him, and so he's still beaming about that. "Take a load off. Yes. Oh, you others, come closer."
Yeah, I'll
Fetch go
join.
over and take a seat as well. Yep.
I mean, I'm hungry, so I'll come.
He'll look over it. He's scooping up food for all of you before he's gonna take his own. But he looks over at Papa Gnosis and he's like, "Ah, Prios blesses us, yes? You must be praying extra hard, because I can feel that his warmth is upon us as we walk through this path."
Oh, it's none of my doing. It's all glory goes to him. What's on the menu?
Just some oats. I don't have much more than that, unfortunately. It'll be good to get to the northern country. I wish to taste the food of Queen Corinthia's promised land. You could tell me. You say he'll maybe look at Elin and say, you know, you could tell me of what we can anticipate. What is the food? What are the fruits like? The
Well,
grains.
I can tell you what was there before the queen came with her armies rushing through the fields, destroying everything in sight. If it's still there or not, I couldn't tell you. But yes, fruits, vineyards, we had all of those things. Let's just say that I see why she thought that it was a better place to be than down south where everything is dry and dead.
You experienced violence on the northern side of the Titans?
Oh, yes. Did you think that there was no resistance when she came?
Guess I didn't think much of it.
Well, there were people there on the lands that she was claiming as her own. She had very little regard for them.
Claiming in the name of Prios.
Of course, yes. In the name of Prios, she did indeed come. And it was, give us your land, give us all you have, come and serve us, and or don't, and well.
Jomilo sort of nudges Elin and yes, this weather.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
Lovely, lovely weather.
Yes, the weather is good. Yes.
It's great.
I wouldn't get too used to this. All of these people saying, "Oh, Prios, this is all, it's all divine intervention. We were meant." No. It's been my experience that, the gods are indifferent to us, and eventually they'll shit on us. So,
Well,
thanks for the food anyway.
regardless of who we have to give thanks to, it is good luck. We can agree on this.
It's been quite nice. Better than a snowstorm, although we still have a long way to go. So
Yes,
we should do what we can to capitalize on the good weather now. Make preparations for when it's not so good, maybe.
Just have the Pathfinders said anything? They come back with any news of what it looks ahead?
They said that it looked like there could be the winds had picked up a bit coming from the west. They seem to indicate they think that a storm is coming, but I don't know. I wish to remain optimistic.
As you please.
It's one way to live.
Have you done this trail before, Tal?
I have, once.
Was weather all we had to worry about that time?
I didn't travel this late in the season the last time. It was earlier in the summer after the spring rains had passed, and no, this is a gamble. This is a risk for us all, I think. But it had to be. We had to take this risk. It's better than the guaranteed death that remains in the south. Feel somewhat guilty having this privilege. You all, the luck that I had that we shared the same campfire but 2 nights ago. There's so many that aren't going to make it through this next winter. But that is life. Survival sometimes comes with a hint of luck, and who you know sometimes makes all the difference.
If I were you, I'd keep my eyes peeled on your friend Heller. I don't know if you've noticed how he's been looking at you ever since he was able to get onto our little caravan. Just be careful.
Well, we kid, we joke.
Yeah. Yes, I was in the army. I know all about joking and how men are,
And
always joking and razzing on each other.
you see his gaze kind of look up as he notices, like, Keller is, like, lingering nearby. And Keller's he's kind of a scrawny, he's got kind of just really gaunt features. And he's got this kind of like a piercing gaze. He's like looking right over at Telk, and he makes his way over to the campfire and sits right down next to Telk and like grabs the oats out of his hands and starts eating. He gives him like a lewd gesture, and he's just like, "What? You can't even offer me a little bit of your food, asshole." He's just shoveling. He's like, my friend, here we are. No, of course you're always welcome. Mm-hmm.
I'll ask Keller, what is it that you're looking forward to over there in the promised land?
Well, big mouth. He's got a big mouthful of oats. He hasn't finished to swallow as he replies to you. I suspect, I'll make my way to Thistlehold. Yeah, Thistlehold. We got a lot of jobs there. Probably get myself a license. Start exploring the forest.
You're not scared about
No.
all the big, bad, dangerous things in that forest?
No, I'm not scared.
Hmm.
A lot of
Braver man than me.
superstitions. It's.
Ah.
I wouldn't put any stock in any of that stuff you hear about curses and elves and. You know what that stuff is? That stuff that the other treasure hunters put out there to keep them monopoly on all the good jobs.
Mm-hmm. Keep all the stuff, yeah. Well, that makes sense. Makes sense.
What about you?
No, that's what I was thinking too. Heading to Thistlehold, seeing what life I can start around there. Yeah, I might get into the forest. I don't know. Depends. Depends, if I settle down, if I meet somebody, getting a little bit older. I'd like to settle down at some point, but
Well, maybe if it comes to it, we'll find ourselves working together. Or maybe we'll be competition.
And Jomilo, has this smirk on his face. This guy's not going to be any kind of competition. The moment I get this guy alone, ugh. And then he'll just go back to eating.
Keller doesn't remain long. He basically finishes that bowl and he kind of throws it disrespectfully at Telk, who Telk's just like, oh, don't. You can stay longer. No? Okay. He's gone.
You know he'll kill you if he has a chance, right? You're aware of this?
No, he wouldn't. I don't think so. He's not a killer.
He
Wait.
might have had to kill someone to get in the caravan.
That's a good point.
I was gonna kill. I don't know which of the guards, but the one that
Good stuff.
maybe
For sure.
yeah, maybe Gustav to get you along. So who did Keller kill?
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know what he told Augusto. Maybe he promised he would do a job for him or something in the future. I don't know. He hasn't told me too much since we got on the road.
Yeah.
Now he'll get over it. He's okay. Yeah, and I know it doesn't seem that he's a little suspicious and such, but he's good.
I watch him. If he touches you, I'll kill him.
But if he kills me,
Don't be
where will
alarmed,
he get his oats?
From your bag.
Oh,
Your bag
yes.
still has oats.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't like to think about such things.
Telk's a planner.
Well, I suppose I might turn in early for the night and hope that we wake up to clear skies again tomorrow. How about you? Are you on duty for tonight, or will you take rest as well?
Keep an eye out for a while.
Yeah, Temper kind of is going to keep an eye on Keller because now she's feeling suspicious of him.
You would notice he would have a tent, I think. So he would, after he finished his meal, you probably notice he'll leave the gate, or the caravan circle for just a moment to go out, relieve himself, and then he comes back, and it looks like he's getting ready to basically go to sleep as well. I think at this point, after like dinner, most people probably have turned in. The only people that you'd probably notice maybe walking about would be the two pathfinders, who are on the outside of the gate, just kind of patrolling around the caravan, and we'll say that you also see both Argosto and Bartolom smoking their pipes on the northern side of the camp, just kind of in conversation with one another.
Are they too far away to hear what they're saying?
Probably not. You could give me I guess a vigilant test.
Think it rolled? Oh, I failed. I got a 20.
Okay. When the wind was referenced earlier, that's kind of picked up, and like it's hitting all the trees and kind of creating that kind of chaotic wilderness sound that just makes it a little muffled. Plus, the wind is just kind of carrying their voices away from camp versus towards you.
I guess I'll just kind of chill then. Retire.
Were these the two barbarians?
The two barbarians are out scouting, and then the caravan master Argosto and the mystic from Ordo Magica. The two of them are enjoying some tobacco together.
Yeah, I'll go up to Argosto since I know him. And Argosto, what have you heard? What's it looking like the further we go into this pass?
Well, I would say the last 2 days are any indication, we made a good choice heading up when we did. Ludo and Balloon, they seem to think that there's some storm coming in, but I wouldn't worry about it.
Barbarian Pathfinders, huh?
Yes. They've taken this route many times.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you couldn't find any Ambrians to do the job?
Well, I look to Ambrians like you when I need a man that's good with a sword. When I need a man who can take me through the wilderness, I look for someone who's got expertise. And these two say that they've done this past many, many times.
Understood.
I've collected a pretty eclectic group of talent here.
I would say, and I would look over at the guy from the Ordo Magica. What brings you here?
And
scouting for talent?
You look over at him. He's got kind of like a turban almost, like it's like a wrapped kind of cap on the top of his head. He's got kind of heavy winter clothing on. He's smoking his pipe. He looks young. He definitely doesn't seem, I'm trying to think how to say it, like Talc. He looks like he's like 10 years older than he actually is. He looked very aged and weathered and worn. This guy, I guess he just has like the trappings of privilege. Like he doesn't look like he's got a gray hair on him. His skin is very flush and healthy looking and big bright eyes. He looks very alert.
Soft hands.
Yeah, he doesn't look like someone that has worked the land really. And he's, even his pipe, like compared to Argosto, and Argosto isn't not, he's fairly privileged himself, but the guy that you're looking at, he's got like a very nice, like masterfully crafted carved, something that he would have spent a pretty penny on, just beyond a smoking utensil. And he says, well, I guess I am the last of my chapter to head north. My master has gone north. He's now in Thistlehold. And so I have received correspondence from him that it is time, and he has requested that I make my way north and meet with him, and I will continue my studies with my old colleague there.
And what is your prognostication on our trip here? Are you expecting any trouble?
Oh, well, I can't say that I have any talent necessarily in divination or fortune telling and that sort of thing, but rest assured that well, and he just kind of gestures to Argosto. He says, our benefactor here, like he says, has brought together a fine web of talent, and I think that you'll find that all of our bases are covered.
I just want to know that you're ready to fight at a moment's notice in case it comes down to that. You're not going to be hiding in a tent.
Well, I mean, should it come to that, I'm not much of a fighter, but I am trained in a fair number of medicinal books. I could be helpful in taking care of any wounded we have.
Well, hopefully you survive long enough to save other people. Well, good night. Jomilo will just walk away into a tent and go to sleep.
There's like a long look from both of them as they just kind of watch you as you head back to your tent, and then they resume their conversation. How about the rest of you? Anything that your characters are actively doing or trying to observe?
I would be trying to get a feel for the weather without drawing attention to myself because I don't want to be blamed for causing any shift in weather. So I'm trying to be very subtle and not let anyone know that I'm, trying to get a feel for the wind and that kind of thing.
Just kind of naturally?
Just kind of like casually, like looking at the trees, looking at how, things feel, that kind of thing. Just not doing anything like magical, but just using my knowledge from my tribal knowledge kind of stuff about that kind of thing, but that's it.
Yeah, let's say it's a cunning test. Okay, and you get a success. You definitely pick up on the fact that the winds are stronger now than at any point during the past 2 days. When you're looking up at the night sky, you see stars and the moon and such like directly above, but when you look to the west, like you don't, and so you get an indication that there's some cloud cover or something coming, and you can feel and even see it like encroaching on the stars that you do see, and so they're starting to kind of diminish the longer you watch. And there's just sort of like that sixth sense, whether it's like your knee starts aching or those types of little things that people say. You're getting like a feeling of like pressure change and a storm on the horizon.
Yeah, so if anyone in our little immediate group is still sitting near me at the fire, I would probably say I think the storm is going to be rolling in sooner than they think.
Did you say earlier the wind was coming in from the west?
Yeah.
I think Fetch should make his way out to the edge of camp on the west side. Just curious to see whether or not he can see the Pathfinders doing their rounds and see whether or not he can smell anything on the wind, but he's not expecting to figure anything out off it. He's just sort of sticking his face in the wind and just curious to see how good the Pathfinders are at their job. That's what he's interested in.
Yeah, they seem, as you're observing them, like, you don't get the sense that they're just idly watching. Like, they're not phoning it in. They're actively like walking about and communicating with one another just about it seems like they are maybe idly kind of talking a bit about that like they've picked up on the fact that there's some weather coming in, and so you get the sense from their communication that they're aware of that. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be anything threatening that you're noticing or anything like that.
And they're actually keeping an eye out. They're not just heads down walking a lap.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that would make Fetch comfortable enough to head back to bed.
And let's see. Is anybody else still up and awake?
Yeah, I think Temper would be awake, but probably end up falling asleep just laying on the ground outside of Telk's tent, like a dog, just making sure nobody comes after him.
Yeah, sounds good.
She'll sit up for a while, but then probably just fall asleep.
Awesome. So then we'll skip forward to morning. And I'm going to say, actually, probably Temper. Maybe you're going to be the first among the group to wake up. You're coming to. Sun has crested over the peaks of the mountains, and so there's light that's kind of hitting you in the face. But you hear, your eyes are kind of blurry. You're taking in the surroundings and waking up, and you don't really see anybody like actively within the caravan itself. But you hear from one of the wagons. One of the wagons that you definitely have seen Bartolom occupy, you can hear a hushed voice coming from that wagon. Thieves, where is it? Where is it? It's gotta be here. And there's some rummaging sound. No.
Oh, well, I want to go check that out. I'll go a little closer to see if I can figure out who it is.
Give me a discreet test. And you can have a +4 to this because the person is not at all like trying to find you or listen out for
Okay.
you.
Okay, so the modifier, I put +4 there, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Basically,
Okay.
it should be 4 on top of whatever your
yeah.
discreet is. Okay,
Okay.
so you
That
succeed.
worked.
And you get over there, like you get up like next to the wagon, just kind of maybe on one side of it, and you're listening, and you could definitely pick out it's Bartolom's voice.
Okay. Now I have to figure out who I think is the smartest in this group. So I think I would go to Elin because I feel like she's pretty smart. So I'll go wake her up. I don't know if you really are or not. I have no idea, but anybody's scores. So
I'm willing to, be the one to try to figure things out, regardless of how smart I actually am.
so I'll go tell her that someone's rummaging through the wagon. It's Bartolom. He's talking about thieves.
Thieves.
Thieves. I think
Well,
I don't know if he's the thief
no,
or if he thinks something is stolen.
I'm sure he thinks something is stolen from him. But I don't think I'm the person who should go talk to him. I think he would be quick to suspect me because,
Mm.
well, he's suspicious of my kind. Generally. But
Mm.
I don't think I don't think there's a thief. I think someone just took something of his for a reason.
But that would be a thief.
Well, a thief is more general, right? They're not going through all of our bags rummaging for our oats, right?
Oh, yeah, a specific thief. Okay.
Yes, a specific. So he's been robbed, maybe. But he's not going to want me to help him. I don't think.
I can ask.
You can go see if you can help him. I'm sure he'd be fine with your help.
Okay.
Is your conversation happening inside a tent or outside? Or like a hybrid of the two?
Wherever she was
So-
sleeping.
Yeah, wherever I could sleep. So I don't think we have an actual tent, but I would have probably gone somewhere sort of secluded to sleep,
Okay.
and protected, but not in an actual tent or as such.
Okay, so you'd be like outside, maybe?
Yeah.
So you probably, as you guys are talking, would notice that Bartolom's wagon door opens, and then he like comes out of the wagon, but he just has like that look on his face, like he just something catastrophic has happened, or he got really bad news, but like is idling and like doesn't know how to process it or do anything with it. So like you see him like he starts to walk towards like Argosto's wagon, but then he just stops. Like he's like it's like he's like trying to figure out is the right thing to do to go and say something about this, or like he's just like paralysis like comes over his body as he stops in the middle of the camp processing.
Well, I'll go up to him and say, "What did the thief take?"
Wait. Yes. Yes, I was robbed.
Yeah, that's what thieves take. Things they rob.
They took something that we need to survive. They took the sunstone. It's what's been keeping the storm away.
Well, should we see if anyone's missing? Did they run
Yes.
off with it?
Yes. Yes, we need to wake everybody up. We need to account for everyone.
Or look where the storm isn't, because that's where the stone is, right?
If they know how to use it, you have to bind to it. It's not so easy.
Gotcha. I'll wake up my friends.
and we just had a boon redeemed by Casey. Thank you, Casey. So that'll be a reroll. I still need to fix my overlay so that we've got like it publicly there for everyone, but just so you all know, you all have a player reroll that you guys can redeem at any time. So you go about and you start waking folks up, specifically just your party members, or looking to account for everybody in camp?
Well, I think I would start with my party members, but tell them what's going on, that the stone is missing, and maybe whoever took it is missing as well. So they can maybe also look for people.
So one by one, Jomilo, Papa Gnosis, Fetch, you all get kind of brought together, maybe right around the fire, the remnants of the fire from the previous night, and Bartolo is there as well.
And I'll wake up Telk
Okay,
because he's my friend as well.
and Telk is there. Oh, what is the reason for this early wake-up call?
Well, Bartolom lost the stone that keeps the storm away.
Oh,
Along the way, or just doesn't know where he's put it.
no.
Says someone stole it.
I had it with me last night. I had it with me. He like looks at Jomilo. I had it with me when you came and talked to us while we were smoking. It was in my pocket.
So it wasn't luck, or it wasn't Prios that was saving us. It was some magical stone that was saving us from
Yes,
from
it
bad
was-
weather.
Yes.
Well, we need to go. We need to go and find this. Fetch,
Where's
why don't you
Tom?
come along and Argosto, tell the two pathfinders to head out with us.
Have we seen Keller yet?
No.
Oh,
Let me see if he's around.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Check for Keller. I'll look for the two, the pathfinders.
Okay.
I'm sure I can go out with them.
So Fetch, you're gonna go and try to seek out Keller. Jomilo, you're gonna go and talk with the Pathfinders. What are the Temper, Elin, and Gnosis? Anything that you're doing in the meantime?
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of taking it all in, trying to think about what's the logical, way to figure this out. You know what I mean? I think in his opinion, he's probably like, he doesn't want to freak out, but he doesn't want the storm to come. So he's
Yeah.
just trying to be like, okay, what happened? He kind of went to bed early, so he kind of wasn't around for very much, but he's trying to think, like, throughout the night, did he hear anything? Did he see anything? And maybe he will, like, slowly kind of start talking to some people to be like, what did you hear throughout the night? Did you witness anything? I kind of went to bed early,
Yeah. Elin, anything that your character or that she's doing?
Trying to stay out of the way because she's very concerned that suspicion is going to fall on her just because this situation feels very dangerous with all of these worshippers of Prios pissed off and looking for a magical stone that she frankly thinks is sort of an abomination because it, drains the world to make this magic. So she's just staying visible and quiet to try to, keep people from turning on her.
Sounds good. And Temper?
Well, 2 ogres are better than 1. I'll go with fetch.
Okay. So the two of you, Temper and Fetch, you're kind of poking your heads in tents and wagons and just doing kind of a body count of who's in camp. And we'll say this takes like 10 minutes or so. But everybody is here except for Keller. And Jomilo, you head out to talk with the Pathfinders. They're pretty tired. Like, this is pretty much like kind of the end of their watch for the night, you know? Like, they would be just about ready to flop in a wagon as everyone gets kind of packed up and ready to go. They would just about be ready to call it their night or go to sleep or whatever, but you find them. They would tell you they didn't see anybody during the night.
And you didn't happen to take the stone?
You're free to search us. We don't have this stone. We've been out
we
doing
need
the
your
rounds
help.
all night.
I know that you both are exhausted, but we need your help. If that stone is what kept the storm away, then it's worth losing a couple hours of sleep.
Well, do you have a lead?
So Jamil would be looking out of the tent, seeing if there's any hint at something, at a lead or anything. Look over and see if sees anybody from his crew.
As soon as we find out Keller's the one that's missing, we'll be passing that on to everybody and heading out to get Jomilo to tell it. Don't know if timelines line up, but that's what could be happening.
Yeah. So if once I hear that through the camp, the people are saying Keller, Keller, Keller. I go, it's Keller, the man who came in with Telk. He's missing. So let's go find him.
At this point, I think Argosto will probably be awake and realize like there's some hullabaloo happening here in the camp, and he would just be like, "Ho, ho, 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 ho! What the hell's going on here? Someone want to explain to me what is going on here?"
The sunstone. It's missing. We need to go find it. Keller's not around. He's the only one that's missing. He must have taken it.
That son of a bitch. This happened last night? How long ago?
I don't know. I didn't talk to the Ordo Magica acolyte. But we can't waste any time talking about it. We have to find him.
Yes. You have to go find it.
I'll pipe up. So what did he tell you to get onto this little exhibition? Like, he came late. What did he promise you?
He promised me that he was going to he has some connections in Thistlehold.
Oh.
Some connections that I would very much like an intro with.
Oh.
But none of that matters now. Clearly, I can't trust a word that came out of his mouth if he was just here to take the damn stone the entire time. I don't know how he knew about it.
So
But he
he's got a
did.
big mouth.
Look,
Are the
we don't have
the-
much time. Either we find the stone or we need to press on because we can't wait here.
well, I'm trying to get the two pathfinders, Balloon and Ludo, to head out with me.
No, they stay here.
No.
You're going to go. The 5 of you are going to go. That is what you're here for. I need
Well-
them. If you go out there, you find the stone, great. You come back and we'll carry on. But I can't wait here all day. I have to make a decision. We're the only reason that I said that we would go north is because we had that stone. Now that we are here, and he's like looking up and he's looking to the west and he's like, "You see that? That will kill us."
Oh, so you knew all about the stone then?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
who
should've
else
been
knew about
honest.
the stone? Yeah, yes, but
I guess I can't say. I didn't think that anybody else knew. It was between me and him. But somehow Keller must have known about it.
Jomilo is going to go into. He's going to find Bartolom, and he's going to drag his ass out there. He's going to come with us. I'm going to go get him. Since he's the only one that knows how to handle the stone. I don't know anything about stones. So Jomilo will go off and get it.
Yeah,
Bartolo.
I mean, Bartolo is out there, you know. I imagine this is a very public, like, everybody in camp is engaged in this now because this is like town hall meeting, you know. And so Bartolo says, I'd be willing to go along, and then Argosto puts up a little bit of resistance at this. He says, "No, I need him. Even without the sunstone, he's still useful to me, and I want him with me if you don't return."
We might need the sunstone active to get back to you if we get the stone. So maybe we should get the guy who uses it if you want the stone back and functioning.
He just kind of like sits back and he is looking at the storm clouds. He says, "Fine. Take him. But you need to hurry. I'm going to give you... You have until noon. At noon, we are packing up and we are heading north, with or without you."
Augusto, your greed might have killed all of us. You son of a bitch. And then he'll just walk.
Ah.
Maybe we look for footprints? Anybody good at that? Where, by his tent? Where he might have left? No?
Anybody have a good vigilant, I think?
I got neutral.
I've got decent-ish.
I got like a 50% chance.
Ditto.
Oh, that's better than me.
Mine's 11. I got slightly better.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, I'll be willing to try. Be like, I'll see what I can do, you know, and
You're smart.
make a big show of, you know.
You'll figure it out.
So-
Look a lap of the outside ring trying to look for footsteps.
Mm-hmm. Looking at his camp, trying to see. He's so scrawny. I feel like we're looking for footsteps that don't sink real deep into the ground, and just planning my process.
So, Elin, you can make a a vigilant test, and I'm gonna say temper. Why don't you make one also?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Elin, you do pick up on from Bartolo's like wagon or whatever. The ground here is relatively hard, but you do pick up on just like a little bit of, there's a little bit of soil kind of intermixed with kind of like the rockier kind of silt or whatever. So you pick up on like a couple of footprints that sort of vaguely indicate a direction to the east, but it's not like a clear trail for you to follow, if that makes sense. So you got like a vague direction of how he left camp, but not necessarily like a great trail.
Yeah. All right. So I'll say it looks like he went out this way, and I'll ask the pathfinders, like, is there anything out this way where someone could set up a camp, set up a hiding spot, anything like that?
They kind of furrow their brows to kind of think, and like they look out in that direction, but they would say there's like a river that cuts through this mountain valley out that way, and beyond that, you'd start to hit like the slopes of the steeper mountains.
I mean, the river following the river back down seems to make sense to me. I think it's a start to go that way.
That's very smart.
Yes, yes.
Go that way and see if we see anything else.
Are we taking horses? Can we take horses, Alex, or we just have to do this on foot?
Argusto would be like, absolutely not, if you ask for horses.
So helpful.
Are there,
I mean,
there
he'd
aren't
be on
any
foot,
horses
right?
missing, right? Yeah.
You see, Telk has been very quiet during this entire thing. Like, he's just kind of melted into the background a little bit. He's grabbed his stick and he's just like poking at the ashes from the fire the previous night.
I wonder if Telk would be able to help us.
He knows him better than anyone else here.
That's true. Yeah, let's go over to Telk.
Yeah, maybe he could have some insight as to where he would go or what he would want to do with it.
Yeah.
His connections.
Ah, my friends. Bit of a pickle we find ourselves in this morning. Not what I was hoping for.
Keller, you know him. Where would he go?
Don't know.
If we don't get this stone, we're all dead.
Go make a persuasive check.
Oh, my bread and butter. Let's see. What? And that's a fail.
No, you do have a reroll.
Okay. Gonna re-roll that. I can't fail twice in a row.
Don't say that.
Yes, there we go.
Well. Okay. He has mentioned there's a place out somewhere up here, a place that he told me he used to be a part of a gang or what have you, band of thieves type of thing. And they have an old hideout up here that they used to use. He told me this some time ago. I don't know. Maybe.
Is this a cave? Is it a shack? Is it
I think it was a windmill.
a windmill?
I
Windmill.
can't all. It was by the water. Yes.
Well, a windmill is pretty big, so we should be able to see it from afar.
And
Anything
that's
else?
low.
Anything else that you can tell us?
I don't know. It was a long time ago that we had this conversation. But you picked up something of a trail. Leads in that direction. Just don't kill him.
Oh, why? I mean, I think we should.
He's a scoundrel. Okay? I understand. And he's imperiled us all. He doesn't deserve any mercy, but he's had a hard life like we all have. He's lost a lot. He's just trying to find his fit.
Sorry. Yes, we've all lost a lot. We don't all just imperil everyone that we're with to go run off to a windmill. Is there a gang? Are they going to be at the windmill? What was this organization he was involved in?
He told me he was kicked out.
Well, this is probably how he's trying to get back in.
Perhaps.
That's so smart.
Well, if you do kill him, just don't tell me the details. It's like a son to me.
I'm going to leave him behind to starve to death.
He said he's like a son, not as in like he's also male and slightly younger, probably.
I don't understand you. Don't understand your loyalty. Or lack of loyalty. It's all very confusing.
Do what you have to do with him, I suppose, but... Look, I told you this information, I just don't want to know what it led to for him.
Get him, and then we can decide if we kill him or not. Get him first.
You should go now. And how many in this gang of his do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. I would suspect that they wouldn't all be there. Who knows?
Well, we want the stone. Don't necessarily want him. Get the stone.
And he just goes back to kind of poking at the coals.
Is there anywhere that we've been on the journey so far that we can think back that kind of fits the description a little bit, or that we saw something in the distance maybe that would fit the description a little bit?
No, you haven't come across really any like man-made structures or anything like that. The Titans basically were like the northern border of Alberator, and so there aren't really even like any watchtowers or anything like that up throughout here.
Yeah, and so if we could see something like that from this location, it would have been noticeable.
Yeah.
Have we followed the river at all on the way here, or have we not been
The path that you've taken hasn't come close to it. The Pathfinders would tell you they're aware of the river, and they would say it's like it's not super far. It's probably like a kilometer away.
I was just thinking if we had followed the river at all, then we would know. If we hadn't seen anything, then we can leave that, what we've seen, behind. But if we haven't followed it, it doesn't make a difference. Just head to the river. See what we see on the way. Keep an eye out for windmills.
Hey, welcome, Weave and Roll. Thanks for stopping in. Yes, you're here for the start. This is our first episode, so good time to be jumping in and catching the show. So, all right. So the group, you got a loose direction. You have a landmark that in the river that is suggestive of somewhere along this river is a windmill or something like that, that serves as some kind of a hideout for a gang of thieves that you don't have a lot of details about, other than Keller was a member of the group at some point in the past. So, as you start to make your way out, like you would be coming under very, very heavy tree cover, heading out in that direction. And could I have somebody give me another vigilant test? Okay, so Elin, you as you leave the confines of the caravan, there's like snow and such that's on the ground, because there had been snow all along, but the sunstone had been warming your path as you were moving forward. So you catch a patch of where there is some snow. It's very hard snow, but you pick up on some footprints in that are going to start to give you a more defined direction through the woods. Yes.
I'll pass that along.
Yes, they are kind of still in El Barator, Weave and Roll. They've just left. They're kind of in that mountain pass in the Titans. They're heading north.
So that means that he doesn't know how to use the sunstone. So he's not, an undercover magic user, I guess. Okay.
No, he's just an idiot who stole a stone to make his friends like him better.
As you're traveling, you see, I think you'd probably...
thanks for the gems, man!
Hey, thank you so much for the cheer. Appreciate that. You're going to see the river kind of winding through the woods, and you're going to see a windmill. So you've got your couple of things that you were trying to spot to hopefully be able to track down where Keller is. And let's see, you guys just got redeemed another reroll, so you got another reroll in the pocket here. So thanks, Isaac, for that. That one's not working. There we go. All right, so tell me a little bit about how you guys are moving together in your formation.
Well, if we see the windmill, should we sort of like scope it out first, or what does everybody think?
Yeah, I would imagine we'd be walking. I mean, I'd be in front, kind of looking for the trail, and as soon as I spotted the windmill, tell us to stop and, take a minute to figure out what we want to do from there.
Yeah, I think Fetch should be trying to figure out how close the trees get to the windmill, how closely we can approach without being out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
So, the tree cover probably comes within I'd say like maybe 14 meters or so. And then like there's kind of a clearing here where there is a stream that passes through right by the windmill, and then there's a bridge that's like right next to the windmill. The windmill's on the other side of the stream from where you're standing. So to get to it, you'd either have to like wade through the stream or cross the bridge to get to the windmill itself.
Is there a spot that maybe we could wade through the stream and have cover so that maybe they couldn't see us coming?
To get to the stream, you'd have to be out kind of in the open.
No matter what.
The closest tree is like 14 meters away from the windmill. So that's about as close as you could get with like active cover before you'd get exposed.
How big's the stream?
Not super wide. It's only maybe at its narrowest probably 2 meters, at its widest maybe 4.
Well, I guess as we're here looking at this windmill, do we see any kind of activity?
You don't. At least from your right now, I'm gonna say you're pretty deep in the woods. Like you just like vaguely see the windmill up ahead, but so it's like kind of hard to do like any kind of a vigilant test or anything to spot anything until you draw closer.
Okay. Well, should we go in closer? Or what's the
I'm
What's the
not very
consensus?
sneaky. I'm
You-
pretty big, so they'll probably see me
mm,
coming.
Hey, I've met. See, I have this changeling ability. I could sort of change into stuff, but I think I have to have seen the person or something to pass. Trying to look up the ability here now.
Oh, you've seen color.
Talc.
You
Mhm.
seem to,
Yeah, color. Yeah.
So I could technically maybe disguise myself as him, but if he's there, if he's the first person I encounter, then it won't necessarily help.
And his friend Talc, though.
Borrow the appearance from others for a period of time.
Yeah, if you appear as Telk, I mean that he might let his guard down a little bit. I don't think.
He told Talc about this place.
True. Yeah.
Talc's his friend. You know, there could conceivably be reason for Talc to be here that isn't necessarily murder, which is closer to what our reason is.
Yeah, it says basically with a successful resolute, I can adopt the false shape, form, appearance, and voice and clothes of another creature. Hang on, let me see. What is my... it's a little weird with the abilities. I'm not sure how it works, right? It's like active...
So active would be like you have to take like an action essentially to use it, whereas like something that's passive, it's just like it's always kind of like an aura or something, right? Like in something that's just always active. Something that's free is just like a free action to take. So, are you wanting to do this? Are you wanting to use this ability?
I'm trying to figure out if I'm trying to figure out like exactly what I can do, because I think it was different at different levels. You can do different things. I'm trying to just, I guess, sort of understand the character sheet to figure out what I had set up. Oh, okay, I can see shapeshifter. I guess your ability is like novice, adept, and master.
Yeah, so you've got the second tier for your shapeshift.
Nice.
Okay.
And oh, it's not in there. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I put it in there, but apparently it didn't save.
Maybe that's why I'm getting. Let me look it up in the book.
So, Shapeshifter says that for the character may, for a short period of time, so basically you'd make a resolute test to see if you're able to do this.
Right. So I think.
And then there's combat implications if you're doing this in combat and confusing
Right.
the enemy.
Okay, and if I'm the second one, which is adept, that means I can be a specific person.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so I could specifically make myself look like him to
Nice.
try to go into the camp, and maybe my plan would be to, hopefully he's not right there, and I'll talk to the other people and be like, where is it? I can't find it. Where did we put it? I need it right now. Or something, like that, to try to find this thing, or just get in the camp at least. Maybe I could bring another member of the party or two of the ogres in. Maybe I could act like they're prisoners or something. I could say that I found them on watch or something, just so I have some backup in there.
Temper's pretty much open to, like, she's following you guys. So if you suggest something like that, she'd totally go with you. All you have to do is ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna bring that up as a possibility that I would change into him, and I would maybe loosely bind you guys and kind of walk over the bridge with you guys as prisoners, and we can try to find the stone. And if all things go wrong, we can have some kind of signal back to the group.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I'm an archer, so I can be covering the bridge when this is happening. And if he comes marching out and sees his doppelganger on the bridge, we can just shoot him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to shoot him and whoever he's with, and just get into it immediately if this doesn't work. But if it does work, we might be able to get in and get out. Maybe. These things, it's like a 50-50 with me, so I'm just warning.
Yeah, but it's a really good plan, so.
All right. I guess the first thing we need is that resolute test to see if you can accurately shapeshift.
Yep. Okay. We got some rerolls, right?
There's one reroll.
All right.
And don't need it on that, so you
Nice.
start to morph
Okay.
and you take on that malnourished look of Telk, adopting his clothing and everything. I believe it does that, right?
Yeah, it says I get their clothing. Let's see, yeah. Adopt the form of specific individuals, including clothes and
Okay.
attributes. Yep.
Yeah, so you looking just like you saw Telk this morning. So, great. And then you're going forward with temper.
Yeah, I think so. And then, sorry, I forgot the other.
Fetch? Did you want
Fetch.
both of us?
Yeah, maybe both of you guys. I'm not that of much of a fighter. So if it all goes down, I would feel more comfortable with a little extra backup.
Sounds good. As you start to, basically, you're going to walk out into the clearing, right, and start making your way towards the.
Yeah, try to act as casual as possible. You know, like maybe not whistling, but kind of. You know, just no one here but us chickens. You know.
Sounds good. Fetch. I need you to make me a quick roll. At -3.
That doesn't sound good.
But you
Whoa.
succeed
Look at how
with
quick he is.
with a 1. So, as you're moving forward together, you step upon basically like a bear trap that had been concealed, and it snaps up, but you are able to pull your foot away from it in time that it doesn't grab you. But it does make kind of this rusty metallic, snapping sound that's fairly loud.
Oh, there's probably more.
Is there a way to kind of look ahead and survey to maybe make sure we don't
Watch our feet for more. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have one of you can make a vigilant test.
give it a shot?
Okay, so you're keeping an active look about for subsequent traps, and you do see a few, and you just are able to spot them and navigate around them as you move through and get out into the clearing.
Yep, and whistling the whole way as if I've just known they were there the whole time.
As you move out, there is going to be a crossbow bolt that's going to come sailing in your direction from the windmill. I think this is going to... target Temper. So Temper, make a defense check.
That's where I hit the light armor, right? Like I hit the armor button.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And sorry, I interrupted you. How did you want me to do that?
I'm looking for his... It's just, okay. Straight roll. There's no modifier on this one.
Okay.
He's not that good of a shot.
Looks like I succeeded.
Okay.
I have 2.
So the crossbow bolt kind of goes sailing past your head. You just like jerk your neck in a direction, it sails past you.
And I'm just gonna yell like really loud, like, yeah, whatever, expletive. It's me. What are you
Make a... I guess make a... Would it be a persuasive?
All right. Oh.
Do you want to use
Can I
your reroll?
reroll?
You can use your reroll, yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Let's try it again. That's a little better.
Okay. So you just hear him, you hear Keller's voice. And you can see him, like, this, I want to flip you to a different map now that we're past the traps and all that stuff. I think it's this one. And give me just a second. I probably have to mess around with some settings here to make sure you see. I'm just gonna kind of randomly throw your tokens down on here, and you can readjust to kind of show me where. I was kind of imagining, like, you guys probably just emerged from the woods over here. So this is the watch. Are you able to see on the map? Oh, it's
Yeah.
working. Okay.
Yep.
Good. So over here you got the windmill, and it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's like 10 meters tall. So kind of like the equivalent of like 4 stories. And you see that there's like a the top part of the windmill, part of like the wall has been obliterated, so there's like a hole there. And he shot you from the hole and then like ducked back in. So you don't have eyes on him, but he's yelling down at you and he says, "Telk, what are you doing? You gotta get out of here, man. It's not safe for you."
Leave me behind. Oh, look at these ogres. They're strong. We can use them.
I think, just so you know, Ryan, I think your mic gates you with the volume.
Oh, I'm being too loud.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'll tell them, not to leave me behind. Don't leave me behind. I want to go with you guys. We're friends. We've known each other forever. And look, I've captured these big, strong ogres, and we can use them to do all the work. Me and you can just sit back and watch the work happen.
You captured 2 ogres?
You asked me to help you. It's not capturing.
Well, I took them from
I
the
like to
camp. They
help.
came with me.
Regardless, it's not. You don't want to get involved with these guys, Telk.
Well, you're involved with them.
Yeah, well, I can't take that back. You don't have to get involved. You don't want to be involved with them.
Listen, if they're that dangerous, come with us. Let's get out of here. What do you know? Come on, man. We've known each other a long, long time. Me and you, we got this thing.
Make another persuasive check.
That's okay, persuasive. No, really failed it.
Okay. He says, "You brought 2 ogres up just to have a little heart-to-heart with me? I don't buy it, man."
I don't be with what was going on, and I didn't know if we'd need protection. It's dangerous out here, dude. I didn't know if you were in trouble. I didn't know what was going on. You didn't say anything.
Look, the gang, they're gonna be here any minute. You need to get out of here. Their leader, he's a bad man. He's not even a man anymore. You don't want to be involved. Forget about the stone. Start heading up north. You can beat the storm. You don't need the stone.
Fetch is going to quietly say to not Talk, if he's alone now's when we need to get it.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And I think I'm going to like kind of signal to the ogres to start to move forward, and I'm just going to keep trying to talk to distract them, like, just slow, like I'm going to slowly move forward and just kind of, just be yapping away like, "Hey man, we need that stone. You need that stone. You don't need these guys. All of us, we got this. We're just going to go and we're going to get out of here."
Sounds good. So you're gonna try to keep talking with him while the others move ahead. I need to just figure out this initiative here, whether this is accurate. Ryan, what's your character's quick?
It's 15.
15. Fetch, yours is also 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then temper, yours is 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it looks like it's doing this all correct. So, oops. And Keller, his quick is 10. So perfect. I'll just have him at the bottom of the round. Okay, so I'm just putting us in an initiative order to kind of organize this as it goes forward. So Gnosis, I guess, give me another persuasive check to see if you can keep him distracted.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, not very good luck on these.
You
Well,
could
you
just
can't get worse than that. So the next one will be.
Yeah, definitely better than this.
you can hear he's like reloading his crossbow, and he just calls down, "Telk, you're so full of shit."
And then I'm just gonna yell out, "Get the bastard!"
Sounds good. All right. So Fetch, you are up. So, movement. I believe movement. You get to move 10 meters, which on this map each square is 2 meters. So basically 5 squares for a movement action.
How do diagonals work with that?
Just normal. Like if you move
Okay.
a diagonal, it'll just be two movement.
Just basically book it to the start of the bridge. And I think I've got one more. Sorry.
Yeah, you can substitute a attack action for a movement action. You just can't do the vice versa. So you can do like a double move on a turn if you want.
Well, I will do that then. And wrap around behind the back of the windmill.
All right, I'm gonna reveal this so you can see what basically this would be the entrance that you'd be looking into right now, and you can see there's a ladder that would lead up to where he's at.
That's on the back, is it?
That's on the inside. So
I mean the entrance. Sorry.
I'm gonna say the entrance is like right here.
Okay, cool.
So, all right. So that's Fetch. Temper.
Well, I was told to get the bastard, so I'm gonna go get him. And I will also use my action to move because I don't think I would be close enough to do anything else. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets me to the bridge, and then that's 4. Would I be able to step inside?
Yeah. So then you'd be like like right in the doorway here.
Okay. I will do that.
Awesome.
Should have killed you last night.
And then Elin, if you're
Okay.
there.
I am here, yeah. I just didn't want to be eating on camera, so I closed it. But I'm here. Okay. So what is the range of the bow that I have? I don't see this. It's not in the stats I'm looking at.
Oh, that's a good question. Irregardless, I would say you're in range.
I'm in range. Okay. I'm gonna just like take a shot through that little open thing just to like put some pressure on him, but I'm gonna stay back to kind of have lookout in case the bad gang guys start coming up too. So kind of just a warning shot, but if it hits. Okay, so this is accuracy, right? That I do first. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that succeeded. And then
Let's see. It would just be a +2 from his defense, but on that one, it doesn't matter. It would still hit.
all right. And how do I make the damage roll? I'm clicking damage, but it's not doing anything. Maybe hold on. Maybe if I go.
I think you need to click the weapon itself,
Okay, so I
and then
click
the
on the
box will
weapon.
pop up.
I have the box, but I don't. It's not letting me click anywhere. Anyone? Oh, did that work?
That's
Yeah,
I clicked a
that is-
thing just to test, and
Okay.
it still didn't do.
No, it says damage.
Yeah,
says
on
damage.
mine it did do the
Yeah.
damage there. So are you on the main tab of your sheet?
Yeah. So I'm in the on the main tab.
Oh, I know what it is. Go to your gear,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then you need to equip the bow.
Okay, so state needs to be active. Is that right?
Yes, and then you go back to your main page, and now click the
Okay,
bow.
I see it. Yes, and now it should. Okay, roll damage. Roll.
There we go. So we'll
Okay,
take
there we
3
go.
points of damage. And so the arrow sinks into his leather cuirass that he is wearing. You can hear him kind of audibly, give a cry of pain, so you could tell your arrow did some damage to him.
Yeah,
Nice.
take that.
That will bring us to Jomilo.
So I'm pretty far away. I think I can only do my movement action, right? I don't have any kind of bow or anything like that, no ranged weapons, so I'm just gonna go 5 meters, right?
Yep. Or 5 squares.
5 squared. Yeah, so that'll take me to there. And yeah, that's it. That's all I can do right now.
Sounds good. Then it will be his turn, and I think he's gonna take cover there in the tower. So basically, anybody that's outside trying to shoot at him, he's gonna be behind full cover because he's positioning himself up to look straight down at Temper, and is gonna try to shoot you. So go ahead and make your defense test.
Okay, I failed.
So then you failed, and now you will roll basically your armor, and then you get something from your robust, right?
Right, I get 1d4 plus 1d4, but did it already roll that in where it says protection?
Oh, perhaps that is what that 6 is. We think
I th- It's yeah, because it's
does it show if you
1d4.
click it? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So 6. So
Yeah.
his weapon would do 5 points of damage. So basically, you get hit, but you don't take any damage. So
Don't do that.
that brings us back up to the top, and it is Gnosis.
Yeah, I'm going to try to move up and in there, I guess. And I'm just gonna shoot a crossbow bolt for good measure up into the window, just so he knows that he better keep hiding.
Sounds good. Fetch.
Make my way in and up as far as I can get towards him up the ladder. How do we do the movement in there?
I think if you use both, if you use your movement and then use your action to move again, that'll take you all the way up the ladder. You're up like in his face now.
We'll do that then.
I'll just even though the tower is not the scale of the map, you're up there. I don't really have a token for this guy, but he's up there. Oh, maybe I do. I do from the camp. There he is. All right, that would bring us to Temper.
Yeah, I want to do the same thing because I don't want him being able to knock the ladder off while I'm on it or something. So I'll try to get up there as well.
I'll slide back a bit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put you guys up here just to represent you're up there and not necessarily like actual positioning and such. Cool. So the two of you are up there. Elin.
So at this point, I'm just looking out to see if I see any of the gang members coming.
Okay. Make a vigilant test.
All right.
Yeah, as you're looking to the south, like a ways away, but like coming up from along the stream, you see at least three figures very far off, but they're walking up the stream.
Okay, I'm gonna try to signal that to anyone who can kind of see me. I'll step out and kind of like do a little, like light thing, like this kind of thing to get the attention, I guess, of whoever's still out here. So yeah, that they're coming. We've got some time, but they're coming.
Sounds good. Jomilo.
So Jomilo will see that signal, and then that will just get him to run a little faster onto the bridge. I think this is where I can get up to right here. And then I'll yell out that they're coming. We have a little bit of time, but they're coming.
And at Keller's turn, he drops his crossbow and like puts his hands up in the air. The presence of the two ogres is more than enough to intimidate him to drop his weapon.
I'm gonna say something like, "That's smart. Now let's all get out of here before your friends kill all of us, including you."
He just kind of like nods.
And I hold my hand out and you give me the stone.
He hands it over. And basically what you have in your hands is like it's a rock that is pretty smooth and polished and everything like that, and it's kind of got more like kind of like a jade quality to it, but it's just got like this one like crack that kind of wraps around the stone that just kind of mars it, and like if you like put your fingers in that groove, like you'll be able to feel like radiation kind of coming from what seems like within the stone itself. It's not like it doesn't burn you or anything. It's just like it's like a lukewarm radiance.
Get out of here.
I want to carry him out. Throw him over my shoulder. Not fetch. Keller.
Sounds good. He's just like, is this really necessary? Like,
Yes. Yes.
fine.
It's this or die.
He gets real quiet. Cool. Okay, so you guys are heading down and like skedaddling away.
Yeah, trying to as discreetly as possible.
Okay. Sounds good. So you start to make some headway up that trail, and yeah, you know the way back to the caravan. You've done all of this in pretty quick time. Like it's probably been an hour since you left, and he gave you till noon. So probably current time is like 8 a.m. or something like that, because you guys woke up extremely early in the morning to head out. So as you're making your way back, you'll make your way back to the caravan about 9 or so.
On the way, would have asked Keller, did they know you were coming? Did they know you were going to meet them there?
He says yes.
So they could be following.
The camp to move out. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
We got to go.
Tell the
We gotta go
caravan to move.
camp and time to go.
Yeah.
Get them chuck wagons rolling.
And let them know that there could be some bad folk coming because of this idiot.
When you return back to the camp, and I guess I didn't have him. I don't know that it would have made sense necessarily to have him on the initiative order, but I think you brought the wizard or the mystic with you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
So
Yeah, I forgot that too.
He was
would
so
have.
helpful.
Bartolom would have maybe asked for the stone back to like check it out and everything, and he would say like it seems like no harm has been done. It's still, he could still feel its power. He still feels his bond with it, and so he's glad for that. As you all get back to camp, though, Argosto is going to immediately like run up to, I guess, Temper. You've got Keller, and he's gonna like grab him and like pull him off of your shoulder and just immediately like punch him square in the face. And it's he's screaming at him, yelling at him about.
Jomilo will pull Augusto off of him and say, we don't have time for this. There are people coming for us. We need to leave now.
We're not leaving with this idiot in our midst. Slit his throat and throw him on the trail.
He gave up the stone. There's no need to kill this guy. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Make a persuasive.
All right. Yeah.
Argosto is just like, fine.
Yeah.
Takes
And
his
then,
eyes off of a nearby dagger and just decides to forget it.
I'll tell Bartolom that this guy Keller said that what's coming at us is not a man, or used to be a man but isn't a man now. So you need to prepare yourself if you can do anything about that. Protect us in some way.
No longer a man. Undead?
I don't know. Well, I'll get Keller and tell Keller. Tell us what did you tell us about this man that's coming?
They call him Mal Rogan.
Have any of us heard that name?
I would say possibly Jomilo. We're gonna Jomilo. The name does sound familiar to you, but you knew somebody that was in the Queen's army named Rogan, Gorinder, and he died in the war against the Dark Lords, but when he died, his arm got chopped off in combat, and he got a infection and died essentially. But he okay. It was weird in the last days of his life. There was something unnatural about the infection. Like he had like black streaks running through all of his veins, and his blood started to turn color. It was like this almost oily black substance.
And I'd say to him, Mal Rogan, I knew a Rogan in the army that he had his arm cut off and he died. Keller, does that sound familiar to you? Is that the guy you're talking about?
Mal Rogan carries his severed arm like a trophy around his neck.
Oh no. Well,
Listen, guys, we got to get out of here. We got to go. We got to go. I'm going to start just waking people up. I'm going to start hitching wagons, you know?
Yeah. There is no shortage of urgency amongst anybody in the caravan. Everyone is feeling good that now the secret is out there. Like, everybody knows why good fortune has been upon you, and yeah, everyone's pretty eager to get back on track after this very hectic morning that created a bit of panic. So, doesn't take too long. The wagons get everyone had been getting packed up and ready while you were gone looking for the stone anyway, so moments later the wheels on the wagons are moving forward, and the caravan is progressing forward back through the mountain pass. And so I think I don't know. I'll leave it up to a random roll, I guess. Okay. I think you're going to be okay tonight. You make your way forward through the pass. The warmth of that stone seems to be keeping the storm. Like, I think at this point you guys have sort of a sense of how that stone works, and that there's a really kind of like a bubble essentially that you're in as you're walking, and so like you get the sense that there is a storm of sorts that's passing over you, but the snowflakes never come into your perception because they are melted away high up in the stratosphere by the aura of the stone. So at night you make camp. Probably situated around the campfire once again. Talc would he's a little bit less like, I don't know, he's not as gabby, but like he's still like showing signs like he's making the food and everything for you again. But you could just get a sense that he's very much more contemplative tonight. But as he looks at you and he's serving you your food, he just kind of looks at you with like, he doesn't say thank you, but you can tell he appreciates that you kept Keller alive.
What have we done with Keller? Do we have him sitting right next to us? Are we keeping watch?
Oh, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not leaving my sight. He's my best friend.
Yeah, I think probably that would be Argosto would have been like, all right, you brought him in here. He's your problem. You know, if he screws up, like, you're just as much to blame. Like, I don't want to hear his name anymore, and it's your job to make sure he stays out of my sight, kind of thing.
And I'm gonna tell him that if he doesn't behave, that Temper's gonna pull his arm off, and I'm gonna wear it like a trophy around my neck.
And Argosto would be like, good, as you should.
It's appropriate.
You can still live with one arm.
I mean, yeah, evidently. So I'm gonna
You
kind
get
of
treated pretty quickly.
slide up to Papa Gnosis and be like, so, you're Changeling then?
You know, it comes in handy here and there, but for the most part, it's not something I like to utilize in front of many people. I just felt like we didn't have much of a choice in this situation.
Oh no, I'm thrilled that you're a Changeling. To be clear, I like that version much better than this, El Prios thing. My people, we took in Changelings. I had friends. We trained in witchcraft together. So no, I think it's wonderful. I didn't value much as a priest either, but no, it comes in handy.
Yeah, I've had to sort of take on this guise just to kind of get around and do my thing. So it's it comes in handy. It's not it espousing some of the beliefs isn't exactly my. I don't really enjoy it too much, but it does serve its purpose.
Yeah, keeps you alive, right?
Yeah, it'll keep us all alive. You know, hopefully.
Amen.
I was tempted, however, to come back to camp and say hello to Talc, but thought that might freak him out too much.
Oh, his face. Yeah, no.
Maybe get me into a little trouble. But it would have been amusing.
Oh, I definitely would have paid to see it.
Bartolom is going to sit down at the fire with you all at some point here, and he's going to say, my friends, truly, thank you so much for helping us to get the stone back. It's not just the means for our survival. I need to deliver this stone to my master in Thistlehold.
It was safe for me to touch, right?
It is, yes. Any risk associated with it is more with the knowing how to use it. It should not be handled by someone that it should not be used by someone who is untrained with it. It could be disastrous, but I am wondering, you all seem very able to handle yourselves, and the secret of this thing is out amongst the group here, but I would like to. I wonder about if I might be able to use you for your services and helping me to get where I need to go. I'm sure that this won't be the last leering pair of eyes lusting after its power, and I could use a few people to help protect me if I should find myself in that situation again.
You mean in Thistlehold?
Yes. I'm sorry. He needs to bring it back to Yndaros, which is where you're going.
Anyway.
But hoping that you might go with him ultimately to Thistlehold, where his master is.
What's the cost of it?
Well, I am sure that the order will compensate you on your arrival. Call it 10 thaler apiece.
Oh, we're very expensive. That's not going to cut it.
We know that the Ordo has deep pockets.
Well, $20?
Sounds a little more in line. We'll call it 20 up front, and then a percentage of the sale after that. I don't know. Yeah, no, that sounds good. That's fine.
Who's your master?
My master is Master Vernum. I'm sure that if you were to come along, he's fairly high ranking within Ordo Magica. Maybe he'd have some work for you.
It's
And if we
powerful
look-
magic that you have there.
It is.
But you gotta keep a better hold on your stone. Maybe sew it into the pocket or something. Don't let people take it.
No, this you're absolutely right. This incident just further reinforces that I need to be double vigilant in keeping track of it. I can't assume that nobody knows about it, especially not now.
Well, for
See,
20 thaler each, we'll have your back.
Excellent.
Looks like we're gonna have to keep watch on this guy. Somebody's got to stay outside of his tent.
Oh, I'll stay with him. Yeah, I tied my hand to his. He's gonna stay with me.
Keller is just silent. You're not going to hear a peep out of him probably going forward unless directly addressed. Is there anything else any other conversations that you need to have here yet tonight, or things that your characters want to do on this third night of travel?
I mean, I think, Papa's just gonna kind of talk to all of the party members and be like, hey, keep this changelings thing on the DL. Not everybody needs to know this. But I'm happy to help the party with what I can do. Just let's keep this between us, That's the
It's
only
fine. Fitch should be wanting to ask Jomilo about this Rogan. How many people died and then later were running around with body parts hanging off them alive again? That's when ogres die, we die. I've not heard of people getting back up much.
Yeah. No, I've never heard of that before. But I mean, with all this dark magic around and corruption, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going on? But I just, from what I remember, Rogan was a real bad guy. I mean, he was a real tough son of a bitch. So
You think
I
you're
don't
still
even know.
chasing?
Well, I mean, are these undead controlled by something? I mean, who would know about that? Is there something that's keeping him alive? You know?
And I can tell you rumors.
No,
Do you want
rumors.
rumors?
Yeah, there's always some truth in a rumor.
Well, it's blasphemous rumors. So keep between us then. The rumor is that the good queen herself is the one who runs all that, has some sort of dark magic. That's what allowed her miraculous escape, miraculous surge into our world.
Mm.
Just
Yeah.
rumors.
So
I
you
always
think
thought,
her corruption has spread to others now, perhaps?
I mean, I always thought it was just unusual. It was just that, that she survived captivity, but yet she's always wearing that mask, and nobody has actually seen her. I don't think people have even heard her voice since, except for maybe her closest advisors, but who knows? I mean, I really don't hope that the rumors are true, but if we get there to this land and then we find out that our queen is not who she says she is, then it may be over for all of us. And then the only safety we might have is Davokar in that forest full of monsters and giants.
Put more stock in that than you do, by the way. I don't think it's just rumors that there are monsters there. We never went. My people never went.
Well, one thing is for sure, we've definitely made an enemy of Rogan now, of Mal Rogan.
Yes, and undead probably don't sleep, so he could be coming towards us, you know.
Didn't even think about that.
We move slow. We're
He doesn't know who we are, though.
Yeah,
No.
that's true. We
No.
have that benefit. But
Well,
we do have tracks. So we are going to have to try to make time out of here. That's all.
I think the snow falling outside the bubble will cover some tracks, though.
This is a good point.
That's a good point. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would have also told the two pathfinders to also make sure that they're keeping an eye out for 3 individuals, and they may think like get only 3 people. Yeah, 3 people. Some bad customers.
I think this is probably about the time. Probably going to close out our time together for the game. I don't want to start the next chapter necessarily right here with only a little bit of time left. So I would say that probably your Pathfinders would report to you in the morning that they thought they spotted something out in the woods watching the camp, but they kept eyes on it and it never got any closer. But probably fills you with some degree of feeling that maybe you've got something following you.
Yeah, how many fighters are there in this camp, or is it just like women and children and old men? Are there?
I mean, essentially, you got you all. You've got Argasto's got his 2 Ambrian soldiers with him, or ex-soldiers. He's got the Tooth Pathfinders. There's a black cloak with the group, one of the members of the church. I haven't really. There's just so many characters I didn't feel it necessary to pull him into things.
Yeah.
There's what's his name, Bartolo. He's not maybe a fighter, but he's got skills more on the healing magical side of things. But in a pinch, he's got a weapon. He could defend himself. Talc, probably not really much of a fighter. You've got Keller, but you saw about how good he fights. So
Yeah.
I think
Like
that
patch
accounts for
Keller
everyone.
up, right?
Didn't
Like
do
he
it.
is he like gonna gangrene from that arrow shot?
Yeah, fortunately his armor protected him from the worst of it, so you patch him up like very easy to do. It wasn't too bad. So, well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for the session. Hope it was a good first episode to kind of kick things off. I think as we close this out, we're gonna do this is just something I've been doing with a lot of the games that I've been running, is just spending some time after the game to kind of decompress and share with one another, highlight or a moment that somebody else brought to the table that you really enjoyed or had an impact that made it a memorable session for you.
I liked Papa Gnosis using the changeling, the shapeshifter thing. That came in clutch, because if not, I don't know how we would have got there without getting, at least seriously hurt. But that was awesome. That was a good idea. Even though the persuasive roles failed, I mean, it was still good. There were still good arguments that you made.
They're entertaining arguments too,
Yeah.
which is always important.
Thank you.
Yes. I liked it when Temper tossed him over her shoulder to, haul his ass back to camp like that. That was a great image. So I appreciate that, Robyn.
Did not kill him.
No, not kill him, but he's right there on his shoulder.
I think just the whole relationship between Temper and Keller was the highlight of my session because it was just very amusing. It was just like, go get him. No, you bad. Okay, now you tied to me. Now I can see them like falling in love. You never know.
I think it's funny that Temper's after a friend, but I think is slowly just going to collect former victims as pets. Look at it. Yeah.
That is the vibe she gives. Yeah.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
I really appreciate those of you taking the time to have good conversations with NPCs because, playing a character that's more action, less talk. So Jomilo going and having those, like, especially just how quick you are, Jomilo, to get to the, yeah, you're no use in a fight. Hopefully you'll live long enough to use those healing skills. Like, your personality comes through really well there. And I have to say with Fetch, the little, like, you didn't capture me, I'm just here to help. Like, just those moments where the personality comes through. So
Yeah,
I
Fetch
like
is
that.
precious.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the conversations that happen. I like the way we all kind of pop in and out too. The like wanting to know more about Mel and then ending up with Island basically telling us more about some of the darkness around, and also earlier than that the talking about the way the Empire came in, or the Empire, the way they all came in and sort of having the disdain for it come through. I quite like all that.
Yeah, the colonizer vibe. That was good. That was good.
Yeah. And having so I think the shapeshifter part being shown, I think will make Fetch a little bit more comfortable with Gnosis, because beforehand he was legitimately thinking he was another priest of the Empire and doesn't particularly like them, but is now like, okay, so he's just as weird as we are. That's good.
Yeah, I'm glad that Lauren brought up the that rumor about the queen, because it just adds so much to the story. Like, we have our story, like our thing that we're worrying about, but there's like a bigger danger. There's bigger stuff that's going on that will impact us, but it really helps us like look forward to what we can expect.
Well, it's cool too because I think we've all read a little bit or know a little bit about the backstory, and as we each pop in with what we know, it kind of fills it in. Like it's kind of cool. Like just everybody's little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah, filling it in nicely.
In a realistic way too, the way not everyone knows every part of a subject, and having everyone else fill in those blanks in a conversation it's good. It's the way real life rolls too. I quite like it.
Yeah, everyone's done a very good job of naturally filling in the kind of world building, I think. So that's been fun.
Yeah, my experience with I haven't read like a lot of these books yet. Like, I pretty much like to get ready for the campaign. I've only looked at what you guys have access to, which is the core rule book. But I did order and buy the one hardcover for like the really big campaign. I bought the first book because it has a very detailed look at Thistlehold in it. And as I was looking through the book, I realized, oh, this is how they actually do the lore stuff. Like, because the stuff that's in the book is sometimes not right. Like, there's like true stuff that is at the heart of different secrets or different rumors and things like that. Because at first, when I got access to this game, I was kind of like, man, they're really spilling the beans on a lot of stuff here in the core rulebook. But then I read this next one, and I'm like, oh, I get
That's
it.
not quite right.
Yep.
Well, I know that they
That's
said
awesome.
that like the perspective of the core rulebook is very heavily from like the colonizer perspective and
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and so you're getting kind of like that skewed perspective. And I think that's an interesting way of doing it to, you know, kind of tell half the story one way and bring the rest in another way. It's
That's
a fun way
cool.
of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the main takeaways I took from reading through the core rulebook as well, was the same thing. The fact that they're purposely telling it one-sided there. I think that's quite clever.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I would echo everything that everyone has said about what made tonight a lot of fun for me. Definitely, like, the campfire chat kind of things seem like they're really pulling out the perspectives of each of the characters, and you're all contributing, like, the different world views on what you're heading into, because eventually you're going to get there and have to deal with you know, the melting pot, for better or worse, of what's happening north.
Hopefully all our characters survive the trip.
We got the sunstone now. We're good. We're
Yeah.
good. Nothing else can ever hurt us, right? Like we're in a little bubble of sun. It's
A little
Perfect.
safe bubble.
yeah, all safe.
Guys, after us has only got one arm. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
In theory, we could have had the bandits attack, I guess, at the tower, but you know, Lauren, you decided
Yeah.
you were looking down the river, and it seemed like, well, you succeeded that. I think you can elude this, and maybe it's more fun that it's like a
And now they're on our, you know.
yeah, maybe that's more
tell.
fun that it's
Yeah.
not done and resolved right away. So
Oh yeah, and
It's
thank
fine.
God that you guys survived the trap, because that trap is
Oh yeah, that was scary.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
had this
things didn't
moment
roll
where,
quick. I was like,
where I'm like,
Like, no,
they
I don't wanna.
probably- They probably trapped this bridge, but I don't think Temper would think of that. So I really had to bite my tongue just to be like, nope, we're just gonna walk into this thieves guild area or whatever.
It also made me laugh really hard, Robyn, that Temper thinks that Elin is just a genius with her, you know, like, yes, you're so smart. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I am
in my
so smart. I'm like
bio.
23 years old. I think I'm a genius now, so that's great.
I was writing in like into my notes like, yep, she thinks, you know, Ellen's a genius, and, you know, all these little things. These that I think about my friends.
well, I think that's gonna do it for us tonight. So thanks everyone for hanging out. This game isn't really on. We're going into summer, so we're not really doing like a every week we're playing kind of thing. We're just scheduling them as we can. I think we've decided our next one will be June 8th. So the next few weeks we'll get together. We should be able to do like the last chapter of what is in the core rulebook in one session. So then at that point we will be like in, unless something like totally wacky happens, but you're kind of on a railroad going north. So I think you're going to eventually, as long as everyone's alive, make it to the new country, and then that would open up into like the next chapter of the Copper Crown. So thanks everyone. We'll pass a raid out. I think we'll just go to the 80s dance party because I don't see any of my D&D people on. So I think what do we got going on next week? Planescape should be back on Wednesday, so we'll pick that back up. We've got Casey's new campaign, the high level Vecna campaign, that'll be on Thursday night at 8:30, and then that's what I know for sure off the top of my head. I think maybe Gabe is running a game on Saturday. So a couple of different things. If you want to see our schedule and whatnot, just come and check out our Discord server. We got all of our events plugged in there. So, all right. Good night, everyone. See you next time.